right. Welcome to a special day teaching crypto. AZcrypto here, MrFOMO. Hit that like, subscribe, bell notification, super chat, any chance you could help us by sharing it. And so now we're entering almost 3 weeks of sideways or negative action, and I gotta take my medicine here. I did predict this week we would be headed back up after an early slow start, and we went the other way. And MrFOMO, we did see 30,000 Bitcoin from the United States government put on sale, and so that didn't help because that follows it. That puts a narrative of negative price action. And I don't think
30,000 Bitcoin, not $30,000 in Bitcoin.
30,000
We're talking about billions of dollars in
worth
Bitcoin.
over 6 billion. And so that I think created a lot of FUD and negativity. And you're kind of seeing that now. Now, do I think Bitcoin will be in negative price action all of April, May, and June? I can't see it. I just can't see it. I think there is a rally coming. However, when I'm right, I take credit, and I gotta call myself out here. I do think we're gonna hit 80K before our next huge dump sometime in May, but it's not coming as fast as I thought it was. And we are only about 15 to 16 days until the halving. By tomorrow, depending on how things go, the math goes, we could be exactly 2 weeks away. I did not expect, to be honest with you, this mini, you can call it like a teeny tiny bear to last almost 3 weeks. That kind of surprised me, actually.
Well, I'm going to share the spreadsheet that we have real quick, and we'll just talk about kind of where we are in the past 7 months. You had 7 straight months of green. You start off this year with 3 straight months of green, 2 really good months. And so you're bound to have a little bit of a pullback. You're going to have people taking profits, especially after we reached all-time highs. But I don't think that 30,000 Bitcoin headed to Coinbase up for sale was helpful in that regard. But
No.
One thing I wanted to take a look at, you see in yellow here, or the yellow numbers here, we have the halving event months. In 2020, after the halving event, you had a red month. 2016, you had a red month of the halving event and then red after. The last time you had green in the month after the halving event and the month of the halving event was all the way back at the first halving in 2012. And so this around the halving is not as explosive as after the halving, right? So after the halving, you have this little bit of a dip, and then look at all these green months that you have there in 2016. Not so much in 2020. You had a red month, a green month, 2 red months, and then followed by some explosive 6 months of explosive growth. And so I think that we kind of have to taper the expectations as Bitcoin gets older and as we get further and further from, its genesis. I think we have to taper those expectations for what we can expect in each bull run, especially for Bitcoin, right? As the market cap gets higher, more cash has to flow in order to get it to a higher point. And, history seems to show that around the halving event, you have some negative action. And so maybe the halving event where we had an all-time high before the halving, and now we have a red month before the halving. It just may be working out that way.
Yeah, I did want to share something. Plan B came out, and right before the show, and I did watch his video yesterday. He's one of the big-time, long-term Bitcoin experts. Talked about the floor now being at 33K. That's not surprising, and that's, considering we hit 15K during this bear market, that seems sustainable, substantial. I don't think we're going to hit 33K during this pullback, right? I would feel like 59.60 is worst case. One more time we hit that. During the video, though, he did say that he expects the bull run to last into 2025, and that best case scenario, you could hit 500K, which was kind of nuts. That's shocking to me. I think a lot would have to go right, but he does have 100K. He does have, like I do. I have us going over 100K this year, and next year huge gains in Bitcoin. There will be, he said, 20 to 30% pullbacks, but the 500K prediction is kind of crazy.
And we have a comment there. Charles says, I saw the floor was 60K. Yeah, right around now, I don't think we're going to drop below 60K. What Plan B is talking about is like 2026, when we get into the next bear market. He doesn't expect Bitcoin's
That's
price
true.
to fall below 33K. And so the new floor, if we have another pandemic and the world falls apart, Bitcoin will, what he's saying is Bitcoin won't fall below 33K no matter what.
Yeah, mathematically, that's the lowest it could get now. And I think that number will go up as the bull run goes up. I don't think the 500 is happening. It would be amazing, but 200. Now a lot of things has to go right, but I could see a 200K Bitcoin. I just think what has to happen though is there there has to be a big event. Maybe another Michael Saylor pops in, maybe another billionaire pops in, maybe a corporation. We had that fake story that we thought was amazing about someone buying $24,000 worth of Bitcoin, a mining company. It turned out to be a hoax, something like that. If that were true, and they would take $24,000, not $24,000, but 24,000 Bitcoin out of circulation, that would lead to a huge run. You never know when that's going to happen. But right now I'm thinking between 100 and 150K. I know that's a huge number in between, just depending on how things go. And again, we don't know if this is going to end in December, next spring, or next fall. So those are three major different dates. And you see different people. Some people do think we're going to have a huge parabolic run this fall and winter and then tap out. And then the market's going to end early. Other people see this lasting similarly to last time and time before, where you have a decent amount of 2025. So we'll just have to wait and see. Again, Bitcoin never got to an all-time high this early in the cycle. And so we just don't know.
Right. We're kind of in uncharted waters every time we go through a new halving event. And so those channels that tell you that, it's going to happen exactly like it did before, or, even the ones that say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, that's not always even true. This cycle could look totally different, and it already has looked totally different because we've already hit an all-time high, and we're already, April is looking like it might be a red month of the halving. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But the good news is that the fundamentals haven't changed. Nothing's happened to Bitcoin, so there's no reason to really worry. And all of the explosive growth usually happens post halving, right? Month or two after the halving, you can expect to see some things popping off. And then you'll see your altcoins start to run. So I know everybody's getting a little bit emotional right now. Bitcoin should be at 80,000 and my altcoin should be blowing tops off, but we're not really there yet. We're not really at that point. And, I know that's kind of that kind of is boring to everybody, and that's not what's going to get the clicks and the views, but we're not really there yet. And if we're anything even close to what we were historically, we've got a little bit to go. So use these times as accumulation periods and not as frustrated.
Yeah, really quickly, you wanted to share information before we got off the air about a token that you think will recover strongly once Bitcoin does recover, whether it's tomorrow, next week, or later April.
Yeah, I found one. This was sort of trending on CoinMarketCap, and it's called Art Trade. And I know what you guys are thinking. NFTs, it's kind of a tired narrative. That was last bull run. And especially, trading them on blockchain, everybody kind of did that last bull run, and that narrative has run out. But this is actually trading real world art on the blockchain. And so this is the tokenization of real world assets, real pieces of art, and then making them available and secure, and having the security of the blockchain with them. And we'll just show one more. We'll show the chart. But this is more about the democratization. 16% of art now is sold on the internet. And so why not get that added security of the blockchain and the tokenization and the ownership and everything that comes with digital assets? You know, I don't think that this is a bad project, or I don't think that this is a tired narrative necessarily, because they're not creating NFTs and then trying to pass them off as art. What they're doing is taking things that are already pieces of art and tokenizing them and putting them for sale on the blockchain, or putting them up for trade on the blockchain. The market cap on this one is only 24 million, and the volume is about 5 million. And so it's number 845 on the market cap list, but the volume has it at number 582.
So if it does gain steam, getting to $250 market cap is very realistic. That'll give you a 10x. And again, depending on how long the bull run goes,
250 million.
That's an amazing thing to look at. One more thing I did want to say, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, Dogecoin might be a decent buy right now if you believe Bitcoin's going to recover, because Dogecoin Day is correlating really close with the Bitcoin halving. And you know how crypto works. It's all about narratives and it's all about hype. And Dogecoin is already slightly recovering over the past 12 hours when other coins are dying. Not dying, sorry, but in the red. I was exaggerating. So again, I want to give you guys a heads up. Not a huge Dogecoin fan, but you know, whatever, you got to put your feelings aside. You can't be emotional. So if you got some, you know, little bit, like you say, powder on the side, and you think you could take advantage, it might be worth taking a look at. I could be wrong. I don't anticipate Bitcoin being down for the entire month of April, leading all the way into the halving. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I still think we have some green left, and then a pullback sometime in May. We'll have to see if I'm right. But you guys keep it tuned here. We got a great show coming up later this week for Mr. FOMO. This is AZcrypto. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you later.
See you.